The city lights sparkled in the distance, but for Amina, they only reminded her of the life she couldn't afford. She sat in her tiny one-room apartment, staring at a stack of unpaid bills. The landlord had already given her a warning. The electricity flickered, and her fridge was empty except for a bottle of water. Before we continue, subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for updates and comment where from you watching. Her phone buzzed. Another message from her younger brother back in the village. He needed school fees. Her mother needed medicine. Amina pressed the phone to her chest and sighed. Every day she worked long shifts at a restaurant, serving wealthy men and women who didn't even look at her. She dreamed of something better, of escaping the endless circle of poverty. But dreams don't pay the rent. That night, as she sat by her window listening to the noisy streets below, her best friend Zarah walked in. With her expensive perfume and designer bag, Zarah looked like she had just stepped out of a magazine. Amina asked softly, almost ashamed, "Zarah, how do you afford all of this?" Zarah smiled slyly and whispered, "I met someone, a man who has more money than he knows what to do with. One night with him, and I never have to worry about bills again." Amina froze. Her heart beat faster. She had always heard about such things, but never thought it would come this close to her own life. Zarah leaned closer, her voice low and tempting. "Amina, he's looking for someone new, and he asked about you." The next evening, Amina found herself sitting nervously in the corner of an expensive hotel lounge. The air smelled of leather and cigars, and the clinking of glasses reminded her that she did not belong here. She tugged at her simple dress, feeling out of place among women draped in diamonds and men in tailored suits. Then he walked in, Mr. Karim. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a crisp black suit that screamed wealth and power. His presence alone made the room fall silent for a moment. Every eye turned to him, but he only looked at Amina. He smiled, not kindly, but knowingly, like a man who was used to getting whatever he wanted. Zarah whispered in her ear, "That's him." Amina's throat went dry as Karim approached. He stopped in front of her table, his cologne filling the air. "You must be Amina," he said smoothly. "Zarah told me you're special." Amina lowered her gaze, her hands trembling under the table. I don't know what to say." Karim leaned closer, his voice calm but commanding. "You don't have to say much. Just enjoy the evening. I'll take care of everything else." That night, Amina felt as if she had been swept into another world. Expensive wine, fine dining, the way Karim spoke. Powerful, confident, dangerous. But deep down, something unsettled her. His eyes carried secrets. His words had hidden meanings. And Amina couldn't shake the feeling that this man was not just rich, he was hiding something much bigger. Amina followed Karim into his penthouse later that night. The elevator doors opened to reveal a world she had only seen in movies. Marble floors, chandeliers dripping with crystal, walls lined with paintings worth more than her entire village. Her heart pounded. For a moment, she forgot why she was there. Karim handed her a glass of champagne and studied her with a strange intensity. "You've never been in a place like this, have you?" he asked, half smiling. Amina shook her head. "Never. It feels like another world." He chuckled softly. "That's because it is another world, one that only a few can enter. But be careful, Amina. This world can swallow people whole." His words made her uneasy. But before she could ask what he meant, Karim leaned closer, his eyes dark and unreadable. "Stay close to me, and you'll never have to worry again." That night, Amina gave in. She convinced herself she was doing it for survival, for her family. Karim was generous, showering her with gifts and promises. For the first time in months, she felt secure. But just before dawn, as Karim slept beside her, Amina wandered into his study. Curiosity tugged at her. She opened a drawer and froze. Inside was a small black notebook, filled with names, dates, and strange symbols. Some names were crossed out violently in red ink. Others were circled, like they were targets. One of the names on the list made her blood run cold. It was Zarah. Amina quickly shut the drawer, her hands shaking. A storm of fear washed over her. What had she gotten herself into? Who exactly was this rich man she had slept with? She realized with a chill that Karim's wealth wasn't just money. It was power, dangerous power. And she was now trapped in his world. The next morning, Amina woke up with a forced smile plastered on her face. She didn't dare let Karim know she had been snooping in his study. But her mind couldn't escape the image of that notebook, the name of her best friend Zarah written inside like a warning. Over breakfast, Kareem sat at the head of the long dining table, scrolling through his phone.
Without looking up, he said, "You'll be accompanying me to a charity gala tonight. Wear something stunning. Everyone will be watching." His tone wasn't a request. It was a command. Amina nodded silently. That evening, she was dressed in a gown more expensive than her entire year's salary. At the gala, she clung to Kareem's arm as cameras flashed. People whispered his name with a mix of awe and fear. "That's Kareem," they murmured. "The man who owns half the city." But beneath the glamour, Amina saw things others didn't. The way powerful men bowed slightly when Kareem spoke. The way women avoided his gaze, as if they feared being noticed. During the night, Kareem excused himself to speak with a group of politicians in a shadowy corner. Amina wandered nervously, trying to appear calm. That's when she overheard a chilling conversation between two guests. One man whispered, "Did you hear about the journalist who went missing last month? She was investigating Kareem's businesses. Her name was Zarah, I think." Amina's heart dropped. Her worst fear was confirmed. Her best friend wasn't just in his notebook by chance. She was gone. Suddenly, Kareem appeared behind her, his hand firm on her shoulder. His smile was charming for the public eye, but his grip told another story. "Eavesdropping, my love?" he asked softly, his voice like velvet wrapped around steel. Amina froze, forcing a shaky laugh. "No. I was just admiring the chandeliers." Kareem's eyes lingered on her, unblinking. Then he leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Remember, Amina. In my world, curiosity is dangerous. Some doors are better left unopened." She smiled on the outside, but inside, she was trembling. Because now she knew, Kareem wasn't just rich. He was dangerous. And she was sleeping beside a man who could destroy her life with a single word. Days turned into weeks. Amina was now living in a world she had only ever seen in movies. Diamond jewelry, designer clothes, cars with leather seats softer than pillows. Kareem gave her everything she thought she ever wanted. But with every gift, there was a chain. Whenever she tried to step out alone, Kareem's bodyguards would appear, pretending it was for her safety. Whenever she spoke too freely at the table, Kareem's stare would silence her. Even her phone calls were monitored. She realized that when a message she tried to send never reached her sister. At night, lying in the softest bed money could buy, Amina couldn't sleep. The thought of Zarah haunted her. What had Kareem done to her best friend? And why did he keep her around if he knew Amina was suspicious? One evening, as she was walking through the mansion, she came across a locked door in the east wing. The handle was heavy, the wood polished, but when she pressed her ear against it, she heard something faint. A voice. A cry. Her heart raced. Could Zarah still be alive? She turned quickly when she heard footsteps approaching. It was Kareem. His smile was wide, but his eyes were sharp as knives. "You seem curious again," he said calmly. "That part of the house is off limits. Stay away." His tone was gentle, but beneath it was a warning she could not ignore. That night, as she lay awake, Amina realized something chilling. Kareem hadn't trapped her with locks or chains. He had trapped her with comfort. With wealth. With fear. She was living in a golden prison. And the more she thought about it, the more she realized, if she didn't find a way out soon, she might end up just like Zarah, another name in Kareem's book. The more Kareem told her not to go near that part of the mansion, the stronger Amina's urge became. What was he hiding? And why did she hear faint cries that night? She waited for her chance. One evening, Kareem was called away for an urgent meeting in the city. His convoy of black cars disappeared into the night, leaving the mansion quieter than usual. Amina's heart pounded as she slipped out of her room, careful not to alert the few guards still stationed in the halls. Her bare feet padded against the marble floor until she reached the forbidden east wing. The air here felt different, colder, heavier. She stood before the locked door, her trembling hands trying the handle. Still locked. Her eyes scanned the hallway. Then she noticed a small cabinet beside the door, half open. Inside, a set of keys gleamed faintly under the light. She took a deep breath and picked one. Her hand shook as she slid it into the lock. Click. The door creaked open slowly, the sound slicing through the silence like a scream. What she saw inside nearly made her collapse. It wasn't just one person, it was several. Women. Some weak, some crying, some staring blankly at the walls as if their souls had already left them. And among them was Zarah. Her friend's face was pale, her body frail, but her eyes lit up with shock when she saw Amina. "You shouldn't be here," Zarah whispered hoarsely, pulling at the chain on her ankle. "He'll destroy you." Tears blurred Amina's vision. She wanted to run, to grab Zarah and escape, but footsteps echoed down the corridor. The guards. She had minutes, maybe seconds, before they found her standing there. Amina's mind raced. Would she hide? Would she fight? Or would she finally discover just how dangerous Karim really was? Amina's pulse hammered in her ears. She clutched Zarah's trembling hands, her mind racing. "We have to get you out," Amina whispered urgently. "All of you." The other women stirred, their hollow eyes suddenly flickering with a fragile spark of hope. But the sound of boots marching down the corridor grew louder. Time was running out. Amina darted to the cabinet again, searching frantically. Inside, she found more keys, heavy and old, their metal cold against her skin. She hurried back and tried them one by one, her hands shaking. Chains clinked softly as she unlocked the first shackle. Zarah winced but smiled faintly, freedom was close. But then, bang! The door to the east wing slammed open. 2 guards stormed in, their flashlights slicing through the darkness. "There!" one shouted. Amina's heart nearly stopped. She dropped the keys, pulling Zarah close as the guards advanced. For a split second, she thought it was over. But fate had other plans. Zarah, though weak, hurled a nearby metal bowl across the room. It clanged loudly, throwing the guards off balance. Amina seized the moment, she grabbed the keys again and yanked Zarah to her feet. Together, they sprinted down the corridor. The women left behind cried out, their voices echoing through the mansion like ghosts begging to be saved. Amina's chest ached. She wanted to free them all, but right now, escape was survival. The guards were closing in, shouting into their radios. "Lock the gates." "She's trying to run." Amina and Zarah turned a corner, their breaths ragged. Ahead, a faint glow of moonlight spilled through an open side door. Freedom was just steps away. But as they rushed toward it, a tall figure stepped into the doorway, blocking their path. It was Karim. And this time, the charming smile was gone. His eyes burned with fury. Amina froze, her body trembling as Karim's shadow loomed in the doorway. The night air from outside drifted in, cool and tempting, but the man who blocked their escape radiated pure menace. "You think you can run?" Karim's voice was low, almost a growl. His polished charm had evaporated, replaced by something raw and terrifying. "Do you know what happens to those who betray me?" Zarah clung to Amina, whispering, "Don't let him take us back, please." Karim's eyes darted to the jingling keys in Amina's hands, then to the women's cries still echoing from the east wing. A cruel smirk tugged at his lips. "You think you've uncovered some great secret?" he sneered. "These women, they are nothing without me. I feed them, clothe them, keep them alive. They belong to me. And now, you do too." He stepped closer, his expensive shoes clicking against the marble floor. Do you know why I choose women like you, Amina? Because desperation makes you easy to control. You walk in, thinking you're clever, but you're already trapped. Amina's fear twisted into defiance. She clenched the keys tighter. You're wrong. You don't own anyone. Not them. Not me. Kareem laughed darkly. Brave words. But let's see if your courage lasts when the gates are locked, and your little escape attempt ends in chains. Behind him, more guards rushed closer, their footsteps echoing like thunder. For a heartbeat, Amina's world slowed. The exit was right there, just beyond Kareem's tall frame. If she hesitated, it was over. Her chest rose and fell rapidly, her heart pounding louder than the guard's shouts. And then, Amina made her move. Amina didn't wait. With a burst of adrenaline, she shoved Zarah forward, ducked low, and sprinted toward the side corridor. The sudden movement caught Kareem off guard, and for a brief moment, his smirk faltered. After them. He roared, his voice reverberating through the mansion. The guards thundered down the hallway, but Amina's mind was racing faster than her feet. She darted left, then right, weaving through the endless marble corridors. Chandeliers above rattled as the ground shook with the pursuit. Zarah panted beside her, tears streaking her cheeks. We can't outrun them. Yes, we can. Amina snapped, determination blazing in her eyes. We have to. She spotted a narrow staircase hidden behind a heavy velvet curtain. Without hesitation, she yanked it aside and pulled Zarah with her. The two of them scrambled up the creaking steps, the sound of boots growing louder below. At the top, they found themselves in a dusty attic, filled with old trunks and forgotten relics. Moonlight streamed through cracked wooden beams, illuminating a broken window at the far end. There! Amina hissed, rushing toward it. But as she tried to push the window open, it groaned stubbornly, refusing to budge. Panic clawed at her chest. Behind them, the attic door rattled violently as Kareem's men pounded against it. Zarah sobbed, "They're coming." Amina gritted her teeth, pressing her shoulder against the frame. With one final push, the window burst open, shards of glass clattering to the ground below. Fresh night air rushed in, cool and sharp. Amina helped Zarah climb onto the ledge, her hands trembling. The attic door cracked open behind them, Kareem's furious face emerging from the shadows. "You can't run forever, Amina," he bellowed. But Amina didn't look back. With her heart hammering in her ears, she and Zarah leapt into the darkness outside. The world seemed to spin as Amina and Zarah tumbled onto the cold, damp grass outside the mansion. For a moment, the impact stole their breath, but survival drove them back to their feet. Behind them, Kareem's furious roar echoed through the broken window. "Catch them! Don't let them leave my grounds alive!" The guards spilled out of the mansion like hunting dogs, flashlights cutting through the night. Amina grabbed Zarah's hand tightly. "Run. Don't stop. No matter what." They bolted across the sprawling estate, their bare feet slapping against the earth, weaving between hedges and statues. The jungle loomed just beyond the gates, dark, dangerous, but their only chance. Zarah stumbled, gasping. "Amina, I can't. I can't make it." "Yes, you can." Amina pulled her forward, her voice breaking with desperation. "We survived this together." The gates appeared ahead, tall and iron-wrought, chained shut. Kareem's men closed in fast, shouting orders, their lights bouncing wildly. Amina spotted a small gap in the fence where the metal had rusted. Without hesitation, she shoved Zarah through the opening. The metal tore at her dress, but she squeezed through after her, just as a guard lunged and missed by inches. On the other side, the jungle swallowed them whole. The thick canopy of trees closed above, muting the guards' shouts and the beam of their flashlights. They ran deeper, hearts pounding, until the sounds of pursuit faded into the night. Only the chirping of insects and the distant hoot of an owl remained. Finally, the sisters collapsed beside a fallen log, gasping for breath. Zarah whispered, her voice trembling, "We escaped, but for how long?" Amina stared into the endless darkness of the jungle, her face set with determination. "As long as it takes. We're free now, and we'll never go back." Somewhere behind them, faint but chilling, Kareem's voice carried through the night air. "You can run, Amina. But this isn't over." And in that moment, under the canopy of stars, the sisters realized their battle for freedom had only just begun. If this story gripped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of betrayal, survival, and shocking truths. Stay tuned, the next story might just change the way you see the world.